another player that is looking to get his contract is also on these positional breakdowns for the 49ers, Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is also looking to get paid. I know for a fact he's going to have a great season as long as he's healthy. He's got that spot on lock. Right behind him, I see Clelin Ferrell on the depth chart. So David Lombardi has it kind of ranked that way. I kind of anticipate that Clelin Ferrell might see playing time on the opposite side of Nick Bosa when Drake Jackson isn't playing, or when Bosa sort of comes off the field in non-passing down scenarios. But I do anticipate Nick Bosa is going to get that contract, and the Niners are probably going to give him what he wants. So I mentioned Bosa, Ferrell, Drake Jackson. The next pass rusher we have is Robert Beal Jr. He's a rookie. And this defensive line is so stacked. They're one of the deepest defensive lines in the NFL, and it's kind of been that way since 2019. Sorry. And it really just kind of comes as a result of the Niners drafting so many defensive players, in the first round, so many consecutive years. And, on the interior D line, we've got Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave. Those are going to be your two starters. I don't think anybody is really going to, push them for their spots. Kevin Givens and Javon Kinlaw will probably be in the rotation along with Kalia Davis and Kerry Hyder Jr. One player out of those names that I mentioned that I'm very interested for is the way that Kinlaw sort of, bounces back after the season that he had last year. I think that he was still banged up, but it was sort of improvement because we saw Kinlaw actually on the field. He would struggle to, see the field a couple times, or for a couple seasons. And now I believe the 49ers are kind of on the fence about whether they should keep him or not. I know he struggled a lot in the NFC Championship game. There was a lot of bad plays, but hopefully he can, learn from it, grow from it, work on his technique this offseason, and really make an improvement. But that's really those names, everybody that I just named there, I all see them probably making the team. So I kind of agree with David Lombardi here on his depth chart. There are other players who are on the outside, according to Lombardi, looking in. We've got a rookie named Spencer Wage. I believe that's how you pronounce it. If it's not, I apologize, Spencer. Marlon Davidson, T.Y. McGill. T.Y. McGill is a guy that, I've heard his name on the 49ers for a couple years. So, I would think that, maybe he might have a good chance of making the team since I know his name and he's probably been on the roster, in years prior. There's Austin Bryant, Alex Barrett, Daryl Johnson. These guys really have to get after it, in training camp in order to really, earn a spot on the team. But like I said, this room is incredibly deep. So it's going to be a dogfight in order to actually get noticed by the coaches and make the roster. I'm going to move on to linebackers. So Fred Warner's getting cut. I don't know if you've heard this. No. Fred Warner is the quarterback on the defense. He's clearly making the team. Nobody's going to push him for that. Dre Greenlaw, I also think, he is a lock to make this team. We've got rookie D Winters behind him on this depth chart right here. Hopefully D Winters can, make improvements. I heard that there were a couple days where he struggled in rookie minicamp. So, hopefully he can take steps forward and, he can make this football team. Oren Burks is a guy that was on the team last year. I know he mainly made an impact in special teams, and he was sort of a depth player. And then Demetrius Flanagan Fowles. Honestly, I think Flanagan Fowles, he's been on the team for a couple of years. And since we lost Azeez Al-Shaair, we're going to need somebody to replace the third linebacker spot. And I believe Azeez was the Sam linebacker. So whether it's Oren Burks, Flanagan Fowles, if D Winters maybe finds himself in that mix, we've also got guys that might not make the team are also fighting for that spot. Marcelino McCrary-Ball, Curtis Robinson, and Jalen Graham, who is a rookie. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the backfield. So with the cornerbacks, we've got Charvarius Ward, Ambry Thomas, and as the left side cornerback. And then we've got Diamador Lenore and Samuel Womack the third on the other side. I think Womack's going to make the team. He had such an excellent preseason last year. And I want to say he had like 3 interceptions in the preseason. Like, dude was just like a baller. And I wish I saw more of that in the regular season, but I think that Lenore stepped up. So Womack had probably less opportunity to really play, to really get on the field. Ambry Thomas, I'm not so confident that Ambry Thomas is going to be making the football team. I liked Ambry Thomas like 2 years ago. One thing I will say is when I saw him in person at training camp 2 years ago, I thought Ambry Thomas was a little undersized. But, in 2021, he would show improvement on the field. He would be in like the right positions, to make the play. It's just the ball skills that he was sort of lacking. And apparently Ambry Thomas has been kind of getting torched in, the OTAs a little bit. So, it'll be interesting to see whether or not he makes the football team. Let's see here. We've got the nickelback position consisting of Isaiah Oliver and Darrell Luter Jr. I think Luter's going to make the football team. Is Luter the guy that you wanted the Raiders to draft?
No, that's your
Jair
safety.
Brown. Jair Brown.
Yeah. But Isaiah Oliver's interesting because he was I want to say a second-round pick for the Falcons like 4 or 5 years ago. And I thought he was a boundary corner, but if he's your guys' nickel, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting. I've heard that Luter has been doing very good in, the rookie camp or whatever. He is a rookie.
Well, yeah, but was he like a draft pick or undrafted?
I want to say he was a late round draft pick, because the Niners don't really have much of the early rounds. So let me look up Darrell Luter Jr. He was a 5th round pick number 155. He weighs 190 and he's 6 feet tall.
Before you even said that, I was thinking in my head, like, that sounds a lot like Nate Hobbs, like a late round corner, goes and plays a slot and just takes it over.
So I'm going to go ahead and look. Well, I guess I'll go with the safeties and then I'll kind of talk about like the people who might be on the outside looking in terms of the defensive back room. But we've got Talanoa Hufanga and George Odom. And, Odom is clearly going to be backing up Hufanga. Hufanga's coming off of an all-pro season. And, Hufanga just has like a great sense of the, when the play is in front of him, he has instincts on where the ball is going to be. And he has really improved his coverage from 2021 to 2022. And, I think that Hufanga's got that position on lock, like I said. At free safety, we got Tayshaun Gibson and we've got Jair Brown. I think Brown has a real opportunity to really push Gibson for his spot. One thing I will say, though, is Gibson sort of kept the job from Jimmy Ward when Jimmy Ward had his injury. I think Jimmy Ward might have broke his hand last year, and Jimmy Ward is a great football player.
Yeah.
And so, the Niners kind of put Ward in a position where he had to be playing nickelback and, not the music.
I was thinking the same thing. I just want to be a
look at this photograph. No. But, I think that Isaiah Oliver will probably be, a good player to really fill in the nickelback position. So that way that, the safeties can stay playing safety, and you're not going to have people who are maybe trying to get, contract extensions or trying to make the team moved into different parts and, have them messed up like Jimmy Ward was last year. So if anything, maybe Jair Brown might slide over, or I would assume that Jair Brown would be the one to slide over to nickel if it did come to that, because he's just the younger player. I want to say Gibson might be kind of old, but the Niners, I believe, re-signed him on a 1-year deal. So I'm gonna look at the depth pieces on the Niners. So the people who apparently are on the outside looking in, according to David Lombardi, is Trey Swilling. I'm so sorry, but I've never heard of you. AJ Parker, Deshaun Jameson. I've heard of Deshaun Jameson. He is a rookie. Miles Hartsfield, Taylor Hawkins. I've heard of Hawkins. Avery Young, who is also a rookie, and then Quantrez Knight. I've heard of Quantrez Knight also. So we'll see how the training camp comes up I want to say it's next week. I know I've mentioned it again, but I want to say training camp's next week, and we're going to get more definitive looks on as to who's going to make this roster over the next 2 months.
You can keep going. I'm going to find the date right now for training camp.
Okay. I might as well go on to special teams. We'll just mix it in with defense because we hadn't really planned it. But Tabor Pepper is the long snapper. He's gonna be the long snapper unless he has a Kyle Nelson I'm gonna mess up every snap. Jake Moody is the rookie kicker. I think he's going to make the football team. And if he does not, I'm going to be pissed off at Kyle Shanahan for fucking taking a kicker in the 3rd round and not using him. But you know what? He's done worse things with high draft picks and not using them. The backup kicker, Zane Gonzalez. The Niners they swapped 7th round picks with the Arizona Cardinals, and that's conditional. So Zane Gonzalez doesn't even make the team. I don't think the pick swap even still holds. And then the punter, we've got Mitch Wishnowsky, and he is not going to be challenged by anybody. So